What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Injection of Inspiration, where every single Saturday right here on the show, I, Graham G.S. Matthews, inject you with your daily dose of motivational advice, helpful tips, all that great shit. Hope you guys are doing well. So for today's video, the idea for today's topic dawned on me about a week ago. I was flying home from Florida on the plane ride home. We had great seats. It was an awesome flight, not a promotional thing for JetBlue, but JetBlue was great. So the next time I fly, I definitely want to take JetBlue, but anyway, on the 2-3 hour flight back, I was watching a movie called Before I Fall. Now, they had 3 free movies. It was some comedy movie with Anna Kendrick, which looked decent. They had Beauty and the Beast, which only came out a couple months ago, which would have been nice, but I already saw it literally like 2-3 months ago, so I didn't want to watch it again. And then they had a movie called Before I Fall, which also came out this year. I assume the other comedy movie came out this year, too. They were all relatively recent movies. We're not watching freaking, Back to the Future, which would have been great. It's my favorite movie of all time. The point being that they're not outdated films. That said, the reason I chose that movie was because based off the trailer that I saw before the movie played in the plane, it looked intriguing. Basically, for those of you that have not seen the movie, I know I had seen some trailers for it at some point. It looked somewhat familiar, but I had definitely never seen it before. The main actress's name, I think, is Zoe Dutch. I think that's how you pronounce it. She was also in Why Him, the girlfriend in Why Him, with the Christmas movie with James Franco that came out last December, which was also fucking hilarious as hell, by the way. But anyway, so the main premise of this movie is that the girl, a lot like Groundhog Day, is reliving the same day over and over, but it's like a teenager version. It's a lot more melodramatic, as someone called it online, which is very much true. Now, you would think, oh my god, it's a complete ripoff. Why would, no one tops Bill Murray, and Groundhog Day is a great movie. This one is a bit different. It's a bit darker, I would say. I know Bill Murray, kills himself multiple times, but it's in a bit more lighthearted fashion in Groundhog Day. So basically, without spoiling, this is in the first 5 minutes. I'm not giving away the ending or anything, but even if you don't want any spoilers at all, turn away now. But it came out months ago, so if you haven't seen it yet, that's on you. So anyway, so the girl is reliving the same day over and over because the day that she's reliving, she dies in. She's in a car crash, and you see that in the first 30 fucking seconds of the movie. She's in a car crash with her friends coming home from a party, and she wakes up the next day, which is really not the next day, it's the same day. She's confused, all this other shit. I'll probably write a review at some point. I know I always say that, but I really want to because this was a good movie, I thought. And basically the reason why she's, reliving the same day over and over is because she has to right her wrongs. And now she's going to die regardless, whether it be in the car crash or saving someone else's life, because in the midst of the car crash, the reason why the car crashes is because some girl from their school jumps in front of the car and kills herself because of bullying at the hands of these girls, including the main actress, who has been kind of a bitch her entire life to her family, friends, people on the street, random people at her school, stuff like that. And basically the main message of this movie, without giving away every single detail of the ending, is that she says, and there's a little hints dropped throughout the entire film, which I've talked about before, where how high school is this amazing thing, and they're about to graduate, they're seniors, and they're going to every senior fucking party there is, getting drunk and wasted and being mean to everybody and all this other shit, not thinking it matters. But I'm here to tell you, it always fucking matters. And she says that in the film, too. But the thing is that you have to differentiate between things that do matter and things that don't matter. Things like this, cool memories are things that do matter. But being a dick and shit like that and thinking that it doesn't matter to certain people absolutely does matter. Even when you least expect it, absolutely matters. Don't think it doesn't. Everything serves a purpose in some form or fashion. She talks about, as she relives the same day at least 3 or 4 more times, she thinks to herself, do these things really matter though? These parties that we're going to and having the greatest time, and for some people, they think that it does, going forward and thinking that going to these parties, it's the be-all, end-all, but it really doesn't. In the long scheme of things, in the bigger picture that is life. And I've talked about this before many, many, many episodes ago, probably in the early installments of Injection of Inspiration, that these little things that people wrap their head around in high school and even college in some respects, it doesn't fucking matter because that's not real life. It's a little bubble that is life, and if you can survive it, that's awesome. You get a free t-shirt. I wish you would anyway, for surviving high school. Because if you're one of those people that didn't like high school, then it doesn't matter whether you liked it or not, because it doesn't fucking matter in the long term. As long as you get your academics done and you go on to whatever you do, whether it be working or college or whatever, it really doesn't matter depending on your path in life. Those are little things, a little dramatic, the drama and shit like that in high school absolutely does not matter. And this is coming from someone who knows. I graduated just 4 years ago. Last weekend on the 25th marked the exact 4-year anniversary of when I graduated from high school. And I can tell you, I have not talked to literally anyone that I graduated from high school with. And I went to high school, I mean, it's a lot smaller of a class than most people, but you would think that we were closer. And in some cases, some people were. I moved in freshman year, so I didn't know everyone the same way everyone else did. But still, I have not talked to anyone that I went to high school with 4 years ago. I mean, maybe here and there, a Facebook message every now and again, a rare birthday message, a rare happy birthday. But beyond that, I have not talked to a single person I graduated with because it didn't matter. If you didn't make a major impact on my life in some form or fashion, whether it be negative or positive, then I don't really care. And even if it's negative, I move past it, move on. It doesn't matter now. But it always matters, though. That's the main message here. Things like that don't matter. Realize things that do matter. How you treat people absolutely matters. And I've talked about this before. Treat people the way that you want to be treated. But this movie goes into great detail about how those type of things actually matter. Not the little minute details of high school and all this other bullshit. But how you treat people absolutely matters. That leaves a lasting impression on people. And they say that in so many words. I don't know if she says that word for word verbatim, but they do say it through various examples. Now, for example, this one kid that through multiple times of living through the same day, she comes to realize that he has liked her for many, many years, and she has the same feelings towards him, and she realizes how nice he is, all this other shit, whatever. But basically, he recites this story to her later on, towards the end of the movie, about how she left a lasting impression on him in like 3rd grade, and now they're seniors in high school. About how his dad had died, I believe, and people were picking on him, and he was crying, and then she came up to the bully and like knocked him out, or just whatever, pushed him, something like that, told him off. And he remembered that, and he thought it was the coolest thing, and he never forgot that, and he's liked her probably ever since. And it left a very positive impression on him, despite how she now treats him, which is not very well. She's kind of pushed him aside and all this other shit. He is still thought, you still saw through it and realized how good of a person she actually is. Now, in another example, as I mentioned earlier, there was another girl in the film that's been bullied constantly by everyone in the school, but specifically by this group of 4 girls, including the main character, Sam Kingston, played by Zoe Dutch. How they have just constantly bullied her year after year after year, and then finally she takes her own life at this party. Ironically, the same party this group of girls is destined to die at in the car crash, but because she can't take the bullying anymore. But she tries to save her, and she tries to tell her it matters, and everyone cares about you, and you shouldn't take your own life, and all this other shit. The main character's telling her that. But ultimately, in the end, it doesn't matter because she has taken so many years of bullying. One day of trying to be nice to her isn't gonna, take away from all those years of bullying. Anyway, the end game is that the girl's gonna die regardless. Whether she dies in the car crash, getting hit by a car, or kills herself at home, or whatever, she's gonna kill herself regardless. It's too little too late. So the main character has to make a decision whether to save the character or save this girl that's about to take her own life, or let her take her own life and, continue living on the same day after day after day. For some people, living the same day over and over, that's how people feel. And they're not literally living on the same day over and over, but it feels that way because their life is so mundane or feels so formulaic. It doesn't matter whether you're in high school, you're an adult, you're in college. It doesn't matter whatsoever. And I'll talk about that for a different video. I was reading Austin Aries' book, and which I'll talk about probably either next week or the week after, in regards to something, a big takeaway, from that novel, which I thought was fucking great so far. I'm halfway through. But anyway, yeah, for right now, just remember that everything matters. And Ultimate Warrior, the ultimate icon, pun intended, inspirational icon in my life from many years ago, that was his main message at the end of all of his inspirational videos, was it matters. It always matters. Never does it not matter. It always will matter. It fucking matters. So remember that. Take that home with you today. If there's any one takeaway from this video, I want you to remember it's that. It always matters. Again, it depends what the definition of it is here. You know what I mean? Like, the various little things in high school don't matter, but how you treat people absolutely matters. That leaves a lasting impression. Do something in your life that makes an impression on other people. Don't just better yourself, better other people. I mean, of course, it goes back to what I've said before. You can't help people if you can't help yourself. That's absolutely 100% true. But in helping other people, don't just do it to make yourself feel good. But once you help other people and make their day feel better or brighter or what have you, you'll find that you're helping yourself in the process. And it's a very powerful thing to feel something like that, to have an impact, a positive impact on someone's life such as that. So just remember that. Again, what matters and what does not matter. And I put a lot of thought into that after I saw that movie about a week ago, and I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it in the remainder of the flight home, about how little things about how people perceive you, for the most part, doesn't matter. Like if you're embarrassed because you left your fly down or something, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? That's the little stuff. People may or may not remember that. 5 minutes later, it's going to be old news. Who fucking cares? Move on. You shouldn't care about that kind of stuff. In the moment, you might be embarrassed. Whatever. Move on. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But big things like that, how you treat people, absolutely matters. So realize what matters, what doesn't matter. School matters. I've talked about that before. Academics matter. For some people, it may not matter, but find out to you what matters, whether it be friends and family or a number one passion or someone else in your life. Again, just realize it takes a lot of soul searching, a lot of digging down deep to find out what matters to you, and just make a list. Have this, a two-sided list. On one side, what matters and what doesn't matter. Certain people just may not matter to you. And there's a big difference between hating someone and not caring about someone. If someone has a negative impact in your life, you should never ever hate anyone. That's just that you're still caring no matter what. I don't know why people don't understand that. When you're putting toward negative feelings of hate and grudges and shit like that, it takes away energy. It's the same amount of energy, if not more, than you're putting towards a positive energy. So why not put towards any energy at all? Completely forget about them. Don't talk about them. Who fucking cares? Again, move on. If it happened years ago, it's in the past. There's nothing you can do to change it. I've said that multiple times here on the show too. If something has happened in the past that, strikes you a wrong way, that you remember, that you don't remember too fondly or whatever, it's in the past. Who fucking cares? Learn from it. Ensure it doesn't happen again. If it's something you have control of, ensure it doesn't happen again. If it's something that you didn't have control over, then it is what it is. Learn from it, react to it healthy in a responsible way without overreacting or going crazy or whatever, and move on. The future is bright. Find out what your purpose in life is. Again, this is going a lot deeper than I thought it would, but essentially that's one of the main messages, in addition to It Always Matters, that this movie is sending. Find out your purpose in life. Don't live life directionless. Just going around doing various things like going to parties, and that shit isn't bad, but I find a lot of people do that kind of shit and smoke and drink and whatever because they don't know what they want to do with their life, and that's merely a distraction. I guess people could say the same thing about wrestling, but I know that's my number one passion. That's what I do. And if you love going to parties, if that's your number one passion and smoking and drinking, and that's good for you. If you feel like that's something you're going to do for the rest of your life and you feel like you're going to make maybe not a career out of, but, make your, center your life around, that's absolutely great. At least you're going down the right path with something that you're interested in or even fond of. I mean, it depends on what it is. Hopefully it's not something too negative. But that's what this movie is trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Find your purpose in life. Find out what matters to you, who matters to you, and treat them the right way. Because as I've talked about before, it's kind of the recurring theme throughout the last couple of episodes, I feel, that you never know what you have until it's gone. You could treat people like shit that mean the most to you, or that you mean the most to them. You're going to treat them like shit knowing they'll always be there. And guess what? They may not always be there. They might get fed up with your shit and fucking leave. And that's on you. It's not on them. It's like, oh, why'd you leave? If you're such a good friend, why'd you leave? Well, because you were treating them like shit. Sometimes the best type of friends have to leave in order for you to realize what you have, or what you didn't have, or no longer have, and I guess in this case. So yeah, those are the main messages I want to send your way here today. It always matters, and find your purpose in life, whether it be making people feel good or happy, or whether it's something that satisfies you. Again, find out what that is. And for some people, you're not going to find out overnight. It's not going to be an overnight sensation. Don't think that it's going to, if you don't figure out in the next 2 hours and 37 minutes, that your life is meaningless. Your life is not meaningless. You were put on this earth for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. I feel like I say that in every video, but it's really the bottom line of my motto of life anyway, as it is for a lot of people. Everything happens for a reason. And even if it's negative stuff, it's going to lead to something. It's going to lead to something much brighter and bigger and better down the road. So always keep that in mind. And remember, it always matters. Some things may not matter, like this little incident that you were embarrassed by, or people making fun of you or whatever. I mean, again, that's on them. Down the road, they may regret that, and they may end up like the girl in this video, where they get in a car crash on the way home from a party. Not to say that's a good thing. That's fucking terrible. But not that you should take any satisfaction out of someone that you hated or didn't like dying. That's absolutely atrocious. Never wish death upon anyone, I feel like. But again, I feel like living with regret is a lot worse than just dying. But again, that's just me. But take that for what it's worth. Take my 2 cents. What are your 2 cents? I would love to hear your thoughts on the matter in the comment section down below. Tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant. Find me on Facebook too at facebook.com/Graham.Justin.Matthews. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment, like, share it, and subscribe. Yeah, those are the 4 things I usually hit upon for all these editions. So that being said, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll be back next Saturday with another all-new injection of inspiration. Until then, guys, I'm Graham Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.